Everyone has the free will to create whatever they want, and so we must expect to have other people's ideas infringe upon our own experience. But as ideas shape the creational matrix, the second consideration is that of agreement. Perpetuated realities and elements in one's life are those the individual maintains through the agreement and the decision to maintain them, made evident by whatever aspects of their lives are constant and never change. This holds true with other people's ideas also. If we agree to not only our ideas, but the ideas, the creations of others, then we are in agreement to these also, and become the unconscious effect generally, or the conscious effect, if we recognize this and still choose to agree with it. And so the idea formulated by another is allowed to infringe upon our experience. We have agreed with it, and so we share the effect, the experience that the idea results in. Individuals have elements of their lives that are unique, as they create and put forth an idea unique to them, so it is their creation and experience only. But if an individual agrees with the idea created by another, then they will share a similar experience to the initiator of the idea. And so we can see, if there is enough agreement to an idea, then all those that agree with it are the effects of that idea and share the experience that stems from it. Now we can see how agreement shapes worlds and universes. If the majority of a species agree to an idea, then the world will be formatted and moulded into the effect and the experience of that idea. Everyone now shares elements that are relatively the same, with a few individual unique ideas, and thus slight experiential differences. This is how our world is as it is. It is a reflection. It is the experiential effect of a cause, an idea that was agreed to by the majority, if not practically everyone. It is relatively maintained due to the rigid nature of the agreed upon idea and emotional attachment to the particulars. So we can see how we have all had a creative hand in structuring the world we inhabit, wherever we find ourselves. We have agreed to the ideas that have shaped it, or we wouldn't be there and experiencing it. We wouldn't be the effect of the cause that was the initial idea. Our world is moved along also. Things change. Things can only change individually and collectively if there is an agreement to an idea that is different from the idea agreed to previously, or everything would remain the same. This is how time is created. Time is simply causes in effect, which results in the experience altering, due to the agreement to the ideas that cause the alterations. This is how we move through civilizations, eras, and indeed epochs. If we extrapolate from this model of cause and effect as the engine of collective experience, we can ascertain the nature of the ideas agreed to by the masses based on the collective experience we share. And regarding the world, the pollution, the demise, the destruction, the poverty, starvation, and slavery, it's apparent that what we are agreeing to is based on restriction, and is resulting in quite the distortion. And as things are getting gradually worse, and speeding up along these lines, the ideas that we are agreeing to must be slightly altering also, and being altered in a less than favourable way to reflect the ever deteriorating experience. And of course, it's not only the routine agreements to ideas we collectively agree to, but the indoctrination that is the schooling educational systems that seek to maintain the literalism that ensures continued agreement to the ideas the controllers create. The ideas will be nicely packaged and appear to be of benefit, but as we now realize, the world is a reflection of these supposed fine ideas, and so we can judge for ourselves the nature and benefit of them. The only solution is equally as apparent: withdraw agreement from any idea that makes no sense. This on the surface would seem easy, but of course, without the connection to our real selves beyond creation, we are programmed within it, and programmed to subconsciously agree with the ideas the controllers create, that culminate in our collective and increasingly dire experience. Also, the routines and habits and lifetimes of programmed indoctrination, agreement and emotional attachment to these destructive ideas will be ingrained and operating, and without the removal of these tap lines that the singing of the New You song affords, we are unconsciously agreeing to much of what our world experience is. Awareness, once again, is the key. We are beyond creation, then, if we decide to stand real in the new nowness of the all is. We are no longer subconsciously programmed, and we release all the old ideas and attachments that maintain the collective experience that have us bound to it. Based on this model, then, if enough people become aware and stand real and connected with their real self, then this agreed upon engine of destruction idea would cease. So this is once again the only answer. Wherever you go with this, whatever avenue you pursue in regards to the references and details, it comes back to that one primary consideration, that of awareness. All the ideas and attachments can now be disregarded, and standing in the now of the all is wipes the cause and effect slate clean, and potentially puts an end to all this nonsense. But we must remember that regardless of the experience in creation, it is still a simulator, and everyone's real objective, their real intent, is to supersede it and be with the is. But in the meantime, it makes little sense to destroy the training simulator that we require to recognize the all is from. Incidentally, based on this model, we can see the state of being of an individual standing with the is in the real universes beyond creation. They are absent of their 5 vehicles, which are the engine rooms of their idea creations, and so without them an individual would be creating nothing. They simply would be and see. They would have no mental body to create thought ideas, no emotional astral vehicle to churn out simulated emotions, no causal body that contains all the agreements and attachments to old ideas, no desires or goals, as these are personal self-wants, and therefore body-vehicle idea activations. Imagination is absent also when the vehicles are gone. So, without the 5 vehicles, we are in fact in a state of being where we don't have the tools to manifest or create anything. We simply see and be. We are true beings of real light, and like the sun shining, we simply stand in our real beingness. From this one might suggest, wouldn't it be easier to simply drop the bodies and be with the is, and bypass instantaneously the 5 body vehicles that are designed for idea creating? But then the third consideration comes in, that of recognition. You could be taken to the real universes, your vehicles removed, and yes, you would be in a state of being isness, but the recognition of where you are is also required. If you can't recognize your environment, there's little point being there, and this is part of the process of becoming more aware. You earn your way, your awareness, and your recognition gradually unfolds of the life levels beyond the physical, and ultimately the all is. If individuals on even the astral can't recognize where they are and perceive little of their environment, what are they likely to see beyond that? If their considerations and literalism obscure their recognition of even the second level up. And we can see that if an individual passes over and is on the astral, they have dropped the physical level vehicle, and you might think then the limitations and perceptual blocking attributes that the vehicle represents are removed also. But not so. as many people have witnessed on the real side, the oblivious, bewildered individuals having passed and transitioned from the physical, unaware of where they are, in a kind of haze. They have dropped the vehicle, and so are on the astral, but can't recognize where they are. Dwayne spoke of how, when he was on his adventures on the real side, he would see trains of individuals being taken to their next position, and no one was at home. They were vacant of eye, and in a kind of a daze, stemming from their lack of recognition of where they were. And so, yes, recognition is a factor, and is part of the whole process.